Hello everyone, welcome to Cut and Shoot, Texas. I'd like to show you guys my East German vehicle collection here. I just got this two-piece, that Barkas carhauler with a little Trabant behind it from Hungary. I just took the delivery last week and they just got their American license plates yesterday. The Barkas is from 1990, and if you remember, the Berlin Wall went down in 1989. The company closed down in 91. Unfortunately, couldn't make it further and compete with the Western vehicles. The car is or van is a front-wheel drive. It has a four-stroke engine in it. For the request of that car club in Hungary, they changed the engines to a four-cylinder engine, and they put a Dacia engine in it instead of the two-stroke. On the other hand, this Barkas still has the original two-stroke engine, which I just rebuilt, probably the fourth time, and hoping this time it's gonna last longer than 200 kilometers. Both cars, or both vehicles, are front-wheel drive, and the engine is located in the middle. There is that little holder where you can remove, and you can see the two-stroke engine. I'm gonna start it up for you to hear the original sound. Got 3 cylinders. The water pump is on top. And if you look at my other video, I showed you a better picture of the engine. You can see the instrument panel. It's got these digital instruments on this side for the water temperature, the fuel gauge, and the flow meter. They put the flow meter there so you can see how much fuel you're using, so you can save some fuel, but they use it usually broken. You can see the battery is behind. There's a spare tire, and never leave the house without a tow rope in a Barkas. You never know what happens. I really like these windows. They're very easy and they slide open both ways. And unlike in a Volkswagen van, you have all kind of space on the back. When you open the door, there's no engine there like in a Volkswagen. I can take those seats out and I can put my motorcycle in there, or my jet-powered bicycle, or whatever I have, and take it to the car show. If you look at on the side, there's also a lot of room to go in there and load whatever you need to do. Well, we mostly just loading ourselves in it nowadays because she's retired. You can see there is an air conditioning unit on the top. It's really not an AC, just some air to blow into the cabin. And if you look inside, there is the little unit there where the air actually can come in. It actually helps, believe it or not, and there's some air for the back that's coming in. Okay, let's talk about this Trabant here. It's a 1985 Trabant, and it took me 6 years to find all the bits and pieces for it and have it restored in Hungary. My friend Adam Meyer, he was the one who painted it. He usually paints Ferraris and Aston Martins and all kind of fancy cars, but I was able to convince him to take some time off and do my Trabant. And if you see inside, if I can open it, every single bolt in here is new. Everything was redone. Those of you who don't know what a Trabant is, I got to tell you, it's a two-stroke engine with 2 cylinders, and it's an air-cooled. There's the turbine on the side what sucks the air in. You can see the 2 coils, the 2 spark plugs, and yes, this is the fuel tank. Originally, this was your fuel gauge. You had to take the cap off and then stick it and then see how much fuel you got. But I found this tank. Actually, my friend Gabor Mucam found this tank for me, and it has a fuel gauge in it. That's out of a Trabant Trump, what is a convertible Trabant for hunters or the Stasi who were watching the Berlin Wall. You can see every single bolt was changed. It has the original tires on it. The original tires were made by Pneumont. These are reproduction. You can buy them at Trabant Welt in Germany, and you can see on the bottom everything is all new in it. Every single bolt and nut And yes, this is an original alternator from Germany. That's a newer edition. Also, I got electronic ignition in it for reliability. And in the inside, instead of the flow meter, what they put there, I installed that 10 gauge, which fits just fine. So that's something unusual, what you're not gonna see on any other Trabants. I retrofitted that in there. It's called a combi. Not sure why. Maybe a combination. You know, they call that the combi, and they call this variation the limousine. I'm not sure why, but obviously it's a sedan, and that's sort of a station wagon, but would be an overstatement because the size of the car. But I grew up in one of these, and when I was 13 years old, my dad sent me down, and we lived in a big block house. He sent me down, it was middle of winter, and told me that, son, the car won't start, go down and change the piston rings for me. I said, well, that's fine, Dad, but what the hell is a piston ring? He said, no worries, just take this one off, that one off, take the cover off, take the back side of the engine off, the covers, and pull the cylinder off. And then he went upstairs because it was too cold. So I did all these, I pulled the cylinder off, and there was a little omega ring what was holding the veer spin in place inside the piston, and that kind of snapped away. I didn't know where it went. No problem, I had another one. I installed the new piston rings, installed a new snap ring, and then started the engine. And I heard the same sound as this one makes, except after about 5 seconds, the rum tum 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 tum, and the snap ring went between the cylinder wall and the piston. So that was my first experience with a Trabant. The engine only has 28 kilometers on it, so it's still kind of, I still need to break it in. Therefore I got some more oil in it than I'm supposed to have. I got a 120 mixture for now, and let's substitute, so that's why you can see it's smoking more than it's normally would. The next vehicle is also a Trabant 601. Kővári Barna was racing with that in Hungary for many years, and it's been to Monte Carlo in the historical Monaco race. And when we brought it to the US, we took it to the Power Tour in 2013. And that was one place in Hoover, Alabama, where was a Gymkhana race. And first people didn't know what to think of the little yellow thing, and everybody was laughing at it. But then when they looked at the timer, they just started scratching their head. They wasn't sure what's going on, because sometimes it was better than the new Corvettes. Mostly because the racetrack was so small that the bigger cars didn't have a chance to accelerate, and this little thing went zip 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 through the cones and then did pretty good time on it. This is a totally approved rally car. It has all the necessary equipment, the fire suppression, like you see it on the back from Sparko, and then all the seats, pedals, and the instrument panel. It also has an RPM gauge, which is also kind of rare. It's a Hungarian-made one. And you can see these levers here, one to disconnect the electricity, the other one is for the fire suppression or fire extinguishers. It's got larger brakes on it from a older Wartburg. Wartburg was under IFA and was also made in East Germany. I don't have one of those. I had one before, but not today. We put that 26 horsepower sign on the back just to show the Corvette guys that you don't need 600 horsepower to win in a Gymkhana. Although we didn't win, I have to admit that, but the little car did pretty good. Now I pulled out my 1981 Mercedes-Benz, and the reason for that is because I wanted to show you guys the difference between West Germany and East Germany. So when you were in East Germany, you had to wait just about 18 years to take delivery of one of this fine piece of machinery. Again, it was 18 years, folks. It was a lot of time. So sometimes when people had kids, they just paid for the car, and then they waited, and then by the time the kid had a driver's license, he was able to take delivery of the car. In Hungary, where I was from, it was a lot better. It was only just 5 to 6 years, and I remember my grandparents taking me to a big car lot where these cars came in from East Germany, and we were able to choose, but not all the colors were available, so we usually ended up with a white. Doesn't matter what you ordered, you get what you get and don't throw a fit. And usually after 5 years, you know, they got the delivery of the new car. So whenever we went to pick up a new car, we paid for the next one, and by the time that came, the other car was old enough to give it to my dad, and he was using that for a while. So that's where the connection, that's why I love these cars. And before you discredit that Trabant, because I read articles saying that it was the worst car of all times, and that's totally not true as far as my opinion. Just mention one thing, the rocket pinion steering. It was in this car since the 1960s. If you look at here, it's got a rocket pinion steering. That's a kind of advanced technology, because even in 1981, I think at the end of the 80s, Mercedes didn't implement that. It still got that old bar circulating, pretty crappy steering mechanism, and got lots of trouble with it because this makes the whole steering go loose. I'm not saying that the Mercedes is not as a good car as the Trabant. The only thing I'm saying is not to discredit the car. It's had 4 independent suspension, and it's made out of cotton. I'm not sure you guys know that. The roof and the side panels, the hood, they were made out of compressed cotton. It's sort of like a fiberglass. The big difference is if you see a nice old Corvette, what's a leftover car, never been repainted, you're gonna see cracks on it. On the other hand, this material called the Duroplast, made out of compressed cotton, this will never crack, ever. I seen one getting eaten up by a donkey because it had a tear on the side. This tear is like a paper, and the donkey found that hole, and then she ate the ate the covering up on it. But it's never gonna crack. So therefore there's a problem in Germany right now. If you want to dispose one of these cars, you got to pay lots of euros because they need to shut it up, because they know it's never gonna degrade. So if you see a normal factory worker would be able to buy one of these over there. This Mercedes is a 280 SL, and it's a W107 chassis. It has a 6-cylinder engine with a manual transmission, so it's a totally European edition. So it may be a good example to see what people were driving in the west side in the freedom, and what people were end up with in the communist East Germany. So that's all, folks. Oh yeah, one more thing. When I bought this Barkas in Sopron, then it came with the parts Barkas. What looked almost just like the blue one, but it had panels on the side instead of windows. So I went to Komárom and put it on the carhauler. I wasn't sure how far I'm gonna get, but it went pretty nicely. It actually took me back to my brother's place where I left that parts Barkas. And after that, we did a little repairs here and there, fixed the lights a little bit, worked on the brakes and hubs on the front. And then I put the Trabant on it, what you see behind it, that station wagon. And then we drove just about 1700 miles. We left Budapest with the little Trabi on top of this Barkas, and went through Vienna, Regensburg, Dortmund, all the way to Emden. It took us 2 days on the Autobahn. We went through the Alps and all kind of places. It was very challenging for the poor thing, but it never broke down. We were very surprised. For 2 days long, we were driving, and it would just keep on going, just about 50-55 with the Trabi on the back. So I was very pleased with that. We ended up in Emden, Germany. If you look at the map, it's the border of Holland and Germany. And there is a Volkswagen shipyard where they're shipping out the new Porsches and Audis to the US. And Transglobal, it's a company who helped me ship that car out, and all my rest of my cars, to matter of fact. You can find them at transglobal.de, and they helped me ship these 2 cars very nicely to Houston, and I was able to pick it up here. So that's about it. And I like to recognize the Haggerty Insurance, who helps me insure all my cars and makes me enables me to able to enjoy them as collector cars. Otherwise they would be just sitting in a barn and I couldn't drive them anywhere, because I wouldn't be able to afford to run all these cars without that insurance. Thank you for watching. Bye.